Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Youthman. A couple of days ago, I posted a video of the unboxing and overview of Monolith's brand new HTP-1 16-channel processor. Now, I'm really excited about this processor, mainly because, well, really two reasons. Number one, it's one of the most affordable 16-channel processors on the market today. Number two, I've been extremely impressed with just about everything that I have reviewed from Monoprice, from their subwoofers to their amplifiers. They've all just really been knocking it out of the park when it comes to home theater related equipment. And so really excited about that. And then the third reason I'm really excited about is the HTP-1 has Dirac live processing. It's basically a room correction software, kind of similar to Odyssey or ARC, which is Anthem Room Correction. And so this will be my first time setting up Dirac. And so in this video, this is not going to be, I'm going to walk you step by step through how to set up Dirac, how to, use that to correct your room and set that up, because honestly, I've got to figure it out myself. It's really difficult to make a video, especially like a walk, through tutorial on something that you've never done, and you're trying to do it as you go. It just makes it really difficult to film that and to share that and to allow it to be beneficial to you guys. So this video really is just going to be kind of my initial impressions of the process. I'll talk a little bit after I get it finished on the steps I had to take, maybe any issues that I ran into, and then I'll talk about my kind of impressions of how easy is that process and hopefully how it sounds. Now, another reason why I don't want to film that process and because it's going to slow me down is because tonight I want to bring my family in to watch Everest. One of you guys recommended this just recently and said, if I love Atmos, really need to check this out. It's got a great Atmos track in it. And so I'm excited about that. It's basically based on a true story of some people, of course, climbing Mount Everest. And I guess they get to the top, and of course, there's this massive storm, and they're basically going to die while they're up there. And so it should be a pretty good action flick, but it's based on a true story. And they say that it's got great Atmos as well as just a great visual appeal to it. And so I'm excited to check that out. So I want to get this dialed in because as of right now, it's 3:30, and we're probably going to watch the movie about 6 p.m. And so hopefully that'll give me plenty of time to dial it in, get it kind of calibrated, at least give it a first run. And then I'll probably end up reaching out to one of my friends, Tony, with SOWK Home Theater. I did a video a while back on his home theater. He's got an incredible JTR setup, but he's already offered, hey man, if you get stuck, if you need some help, give me a call. I'll be glad to help you out with Dirac because he's very familiar with that. He's always just been a real big blessing in my life, helping me out, dial my stuff in. So just a great, great dude. So I appreciate him offering that. And so I'm going to go ahead and dive into Dirac. I'll pause the video here, then I'll come back after I've got it calibrated. In a nutshell, I'm going to download Dirac Live onto the laptop. Then I'll plug in my UMIK-1 microphone, set it up on a tripod. Just like Odyssey, we're going to run different positions around my primary listening position here. I think it actually does a lot more than Odyssey. Odyssey typically is about 8, but you can do, I think, quite a few more with Dirac, and they even encourage you to do that. And so I'll have to see how many, I'll let you know how many positions that I use for that. And then there's other things that are going to be, a challenge, I think, for me to kind of figure out. I know that there's basically these house curves that kind of give you, it's like a set EQ. There's one from Harman. There's another one that I read just briefly about. Some people like using that one. And then, of course, you can kind of build your own house curve. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to choose. And again, that may just be over time. I may try one and then switch it to another one. But really just, I want to get this set up. I'm really excited to hear for the first time the HTP-1 in my home theater with all 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos setup with dual subwoofers. So I'm excited to see that. And with the HTP-1, I was able to get the basically like a trial version of the bass correction. I think they call it bass correction. Is that right? Bass control, that's what it is. It's called bass control. With the HTP1, you do get the full suite of Dirac Live. But there's different tiers of Dirac. And so this is basically the third tier. It's the most expensive tier. I think the cost on it's typically about $500 to add this. But if you've got multiple subwoofers, they say it's definitely worth the investment. And so I wanted to give that a shot and kind of see, you know, what is that process? How does it handle? I know I've got some room modes in my room like everybody else does. And so I'm curious to see how Dirac Live is going to correct some of those issues in my room. And so anyway, with that said, let me go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to set up Dirac. I'll come back to the video and I'll just kind of give you some thoughts on that process and hopefully give an initial impressions, at least with a little bit of demo content. And then tonight we'll watch a full movie with those settings. And so hang tight and I'll come back with you in just a minute. All right, guys, well, I have some good news and I've got some bad news. We ran the Dirac Live on the system, on the HTP1. The good news is, man, the software looks awesome. I really like the interface. I like the results that it produces, kind of the before and after, how it kind of tweaks your setup, dials in the crossovers with the bass control. That is super, super cool. And then allows you to even make place curtains, basically, so that you're only measuring certain frequencies. And so there's just a lot of flexibility in this, and it's able to calibrate multiple subs, time align them, add EQ, add a house curve if you want to. And so I had a friend of mine who is very familiar with Dirac and a lot smarter than I am, Tony from Salk Home Theater. And Tony jumped on, he lives in another state, so he dialed into my computer through I think TeamViewer, and was able to kind of walk through. He wanted to see, he has Dirac on his Emotiva RMC1, but they have not introduced the bass control. Well, I have a trial version of the bass control for the, for the review. And so I'm able to access that. And so he was really excited to see that, and he loved what he saw. But while we were running Dirac, at the end of it, and we were looking at the results, here's where the bad news comes in. We discovered that the left tweeter had a way different frequency response than the center channel and the right speaker. And so my assumption is that one of the tweeter in the left speaker is not functioning properly. So what I need to do is I need to go behind my screen, and I'm going to swap the left tweeter with the right tweeter. And then I'm going to come back to the computer, we'll run REW, and kind of see if that messed up frequency response follows the tweeter. If I run the right speaker in REW and run a frequency sweep, and it looks similar to what we got with the left speaker, then I know the tweeter's bad. If that does not take place, if the new tweeter in the right speaker and the old tweeter in the right speaker measure the same or pretty close to the same, then we know that tweeter's fine. It's the crossover in that left speaker. And so I'm going to go ahead and take you into REW. So here we are. I just want to show you what that looked like. And so after we finished with Dirac, I came back over to REW just to run some tests. You can see I've got the UMIC 1 right here in my primary listening position. And so if I turn on this left channel, this is the frequency response that I got with the left speaker. So when we ran the center channel, I'll just turn that one on and I'll turn the right channel on. You can see this right here is way different than what's going on right here. Okay, so if I turn off the left speaker, you can see pretty much the right and the center channel, they follow the exact same path. And so we would hope that the left speaker would have done pretty similar as well. But as you can see, it's way, way off. And so like I said, let's go ahead and jump behind my screen. It'll take me a little bit, so I won't document the whole thing, but I'm going to swap the left speaker, the left tweeter with the right tweeter. And then we'll come back to REW. We'll run another frequency sweep, and we'll see what we get. Got my screwdriver. The reason why I didn't kind of flip the speaker upside down or turn around backwards so I could easily get to it is because I wanted the speakers to be in the same exact location when I measure them again. So honestly, this is a pain in the butt because I'm upside down, reaching in pretty deep. The speaker's like 2 foot deep. So I've got my arm way in there trying to hold the speaker in place and screw it in. But I've got the second one in, so both of these tweeters have been replaced. So now all I have to do is connect the terminal leads to the tweeter, and we will be in business. All right, we are back in business. I've got both tweeters swapped. So I've got the original tweeter that was in the right speaker in the left speaker, and the left speaker in the right speaker. So let's go back down, check out REW, and let's see how the results turn out. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump back into REW. We've got the tweeters swapped, and so I'm going to come up here to measure. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to come over here to preferences. So a lot of guys use Java. I'm using the ISIO drivers, and the reason is it allows me to run frequency sweeps on individual channels, and so I'll show you how to do that. So if I click measure, right here where it says output, you've got 1 through 8. And so number 1 is the left speaker. Number 2 is the right speaker. Number 3 is the center channel. I believe number 4 is both subwoofers. And then 5 and 6 would be like your left side surround, right side surround. And I believe 7 and 8 is your left back surround and your right back surround. So you can't do all of your channels like your Atmos, but at least you can do all your front, your sides, and your surround back. So what we're going to be focusing on is 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to run a frequency sweep of number 1, which is the front left speaker. We're going to be measuring 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Mostly I'm focusing on this 20,000 hertz, you know, basically the higher frequencies, because that's where the issue is. So I'm going to just go ahead and click start. All right. So each time what I'm doing, I close this laptop lid down so that it doesn't kind of interfere with what the mic is trying to measure. So here we can see it's you know, pretty jagged. It's just hard to see. So just to make it easier, I'm going to come up to controls, and I'm going to apply variable smoothing, and it's just going to kind of like average it out so it makes it easier to kind of see what's going on. So that is the left. So we'll just call that, I'm going to type this with one hand, left. So that's basically the left with the right tweeter, if that makes sense. So I took the right tweeter, the tweeter from the right speaker, and moved it to the left speaker. So that's the new left. Let's go ahead and measure the center channel. So we'll come over here. I'm going to jump down to number 3 because that's the center channel. We'll hit start. All right, so there's measurement 2. We'll come up here to controls, apply some variable smoothing to that one, and we'll call that center. And it's so much easier typing with 2 hands instead of 1 or 2 fingers. All right, so there is the center channel. Now let's come up here to measure. We're going to measure number 2, which is the right speaker. All right, so now we have all 3 of our measurements. We'll apply smoothing to this one as well. And for now, I'm just going to turn all 3 of these off down here at the bottom. And let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so let's go ahead and turn on the left channel. So the left channel was the original tweeter in the left speaker. And now I'm going to turn on the left speaker with the new tweeter, with, you know, from the right speaker. So as we can see here, this all looks pretty similar, but this right here is definitely way different. So that may be good, that may be bad. So let's take a look. So let's go ahead and go to the two center channels. So here's the center channel from the original. And then here's the center channel we just ran. So that's basically the same. So we're good there. So that just kind of lets us know, you know, our settings are still the same. Everything's good. And then we're going to do the right speaker, the original right speaker. And then we're going to, I'm going to go ahead and name this right so I don't get it mixed up. Right. Okay. And so now I can come down here and turn on the right speaker. Now this is the right speaker with that left tweeter. And as we can see, this is interesting. So basically, here's what this tells me. Because this frequency response is the same, whether we use the original tweeter or the tweeter from the left speaker, that means that tweeter is actually fine. So the tweeter is not the issue. So when we go back here, let's look at the left speaker. This is the original, and this is the one we just ran with the new tweeter. So, man, that's kind of bizarre to me. And maybe you guys can help me kind of figure this out and think this through. Why would, if I swap tweeters, if I move the tweeter from the left to the right speaker, and it measures the same as the original tweeter on the right speaker, but the left speaker measures differently when I put a different tweeter in it. How is that even possible? It would almost make me believe that the tweeter is bad and maybe the crossover. All right, guys, as you can see, I've got some digging to do to try to figure this out. So far, I've only run one measurement with Dirac. I didn't go ahead and go through all 17 of the points of the positions because it really is a waste of time, because I need to figure out why my speakers aren't, they're not measuring correctly. And so I really want to get that dialed in, get that where it needs to be. My speakers are 40 years old, so it's not a surprise to me that the crossover is going bad in one of them, or the tweeters are going bad in one of them, or both. So again, I'm going to do some more testing on my end and try to figure that out. But in the meantime, what I'll end up doing is I'll bring in my Martin Logan speakers, the left, center, and right, and we'll connect that to the HTP1, and then we'll use that to run Dirac Pro, get that set up, and I'll probably make another video on Dirac, just kind of a basic walkthrough on how you set that up, and kind of give you my initial impressions of the HTP1. So unfortunately, I don't have any audio demos. Again, like I said, my speakers aren't there yet. I don't have Dirac dialed in, and but I really like what I'm seeing with Dirac, so I'm excited about the potential there. And but anyway, so guys, I know this is a little bit different style of video. Really just want to take you along my journey in home theater. I mean, sometimes we run into issues, and I guess it's really easy for us as content creators to only show you the good side, you know? So here's a prime example. The good side I'm showing you right here is everything that's kind of, for the most part, nice and tidy and stuff. What I'm not showing you is right down here is an array of amplifiers and speakers and subwoofers and receivers and AVRs and processors. And so that's like the not so nice side of it, the messy side of home theater. But the reality is this is real life. So I wanted to kind of share this experience with you, kind of share what I did to troubleshoot it. Maybe it will help you out if you run into something like this in your setup. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll catch you in the next video.